Buenos dias and welcome to Catalonia for the Spanish Grand Prix, the second round of the 2023 Formula SimRacing World Championship. My name is Edward Hunter, and here is the breaking news going into round 2. Michi Hoyer was ruled out of the running in Barcelona due to wheel issues. Burst Simplexity have instead substituted former driver Tom Oldenmenger to fill in for the absent German at short notice. Adam Maguire took RAG's first pole position in the World Championship, but Tom Latiou had overheated his engine, leaving him stranded. Jan Grankvist could not avoid the race clutch in time as the pair's strong qualifying immediately came undone. Janos Braksok attempted unsuccessfully to wrestle the lead away from Maguire after yet another front row in qualifying, but race clutch's day was about to get even worse as David Mrokcek bounced off the sausage curb and straight into the side of the returning Robin Panzer, with the Swede then being sent into the path of Cosmo Prosciutto and Damien Skovron, as all three kissed goodbye to their front wings. Jukka-Pekka Lalu's Super Venturi only narrowly avoided disaster by squeezing between Oldenmenger and Mrokcek. Colin Spork had jumped Janik Bock for 5th as Jerne Simoncic on the hard tyres cleared Mika Hakimi's Brabham Arnage for 7th. Santa Callas's race would only last 7 laps before he lost the rear end of his ground effect car into Kampsa, continuing a difficult start to the Estonian season. After getting caught up in drama at the start, Mrokcek was gaining ground, going around the outside of Kostas Van Vukas for 19th. The two Alpines ran side by side into Lakaxia, but it was Petr Briliak who held the inside, showing the reigning champion the door. Simoncic hung back from the top 6, looking to maximise the lifespan of his hard tyres, as meanwhile Dennis Jordan tried unsuccessfully to go around the outside of Carlos Martin for 13th at Sayat Corner. Liam Duval was first of the leaders to pit on lap 16, re-emerging on hard tyres. He was followed in a lap later by RAG teammate Maguire and Spork on the same strategy, handing the lead to Braksok. Duval was able to keep position ahead of Spork as the Dutchman's engine smoked on the pit exit. The Arnage Brabham of Braksok and the TX3 of Bock pit on lap 18, releasing Simoncic and allowing Briliak to lead. On pit exit, Braksok found Duval had narrowly undercut him, putting RAG in a net 1-2 lead as the struggling Pansar got well out of everyone's way. Briliak pit the following lap along with Hakimi and emerged behind the RAG pairing right as they cleared the yet-to-stop Burst Simplexity of Oldenmenger. With Briliak's tyres yet to get up to temperature, Braksok was delayed, allowing Spork to dive up the inside of the Hungarian at Repsol Corner. The Arnage Brabham attempted to hold the inside line, but Spork sent his Alpine the long way around to climb into the net top 4. The Alpines then dispensed with Oldenmenger into turn 1 as Braksok also slipped up the inside of the Dutchman into Repsol. Giordano Valeriano used the DRS to clear Martin Mergeli to briefly run in the top 7. Darius Andre up ahead was holding on to a lofty second place for Visceral, but Alex Siebel used the DRS to go up the inside the Romanian on lap 22. Hakimi then made his way past Zolt Zux as the recovering valet of Stavros Muzeidis then attacked Van Vukas, who was clearly struggling on worn tyres. Maguire then went up the inside of the NX27 into turn 3, with Duval following through into turn 4. Muzeidis pit before he could be passed by the RAG duo. Meanwhile, Mrokcek continued his battles in the lower points, clearing Danny van den Eek and dragging the visceral car of Merguli with him into turn 1. The Netrex driver was now sitting duck for Lalu, who breezed by a lap later. Simoncic made his first pit stop on lap 28 for another set of hard tyres, relinquishing the lead back to Maguire. Jordan had leapfrogged Denahan in the pits and now used the DRS to make his way past Martin into 11th. Denahan had kept in the slipstream, was able to take advantage to pass the Spaniard and keep pressure upon the Ferraris. Simoncic was on a charge on his fresh tyres, breezing past Braksok's Arnage Brabham halfway down the straight with DRS before the Slovenian then repeated the feat to clear Bock's TX3 for 5th place. Zux had stayed out longer than anyone else on hard tyres, leaving the ground effect as easy pickings for Jordan. Andre banged wheels with Valeriano as he tried to go around the outside of the valet at Sayat, before the visceral driver then completed an unconventional pass by braking late into Verf. Andre's day ended in disaster as he pulled out a fraction too late when passing Martin with the DRS. The contact destabilised the Netrex, causing Martin to lose control and tank the visceral car into the barriers, putting both out on the spot. Simoncic had caught up to the leading quartet on lap 36 and easily passed Spork using DRS. Duval reacted by pitting 4 laps later for his final set of hard tyres and immediately set about clearing Zux into Lakaxia. Maguire and Spork then responded on the following lap with pit stops of their own, as Duval was again able to maintain track position against a smoking Spork. Simoncic took the lead from Briliak, giving a sign to the Croatian that it was time to pit, which he did on lap 44. Spork was not hanging around, and on lap 48 he dived up the inside of Deval into turn 4. The R8G driver took the racing line and almost squeezed Spork off track at Seat. The reigning champion was not about to take that Sydney down and dived up the inside of the Dutchman at Wurth, leading to more contact with the Alpine emerging ahead. Deval then used DRS and pushed to pass to repay the favour and get himself back into a net second place. Siebel pit on lap 51, trailed closely by Irishman Denahan. 4 laps later came the crucial final stop for Simoncic as he came out on mediums, right on the tail of the R8G and Alpine duos. With 10 laps remaining, Simoncic knew he had to be bold and went around the outside of old rival Briliak at turn 4 and kept enough overlap to take advantage when it became the inside for turn 5. Spork was clearly in a hurry to pass Deval, but the R8G refused to budge, meaning he would now have to get defensive against the burst car behind him. Simoncic had saved his hybrid battery, learning lessons from Bahrain to breeze past Spork, even with the Alpine driver's DRS wide open. This allowed Briliak to tuck into the slipstream as well as the two Les Blues began to squabble over 4th place. Simoncic wasn't done yet though, and on the following lap Deval was powerless to help defend his teammate against the Slovenian's fearsome pace. Maguire deployed his energy to keep Simoncic at bay for 4 laps, but with only 3 tours to go, the Irishman had nothing left to stop the burst car completing an amazing rise from 11th all the way to 1st. It was left to the 2 French squads to fight over the scraps, and Briliak decided to try and replicate the move Simoncic had done to him through turn 4, but on his teammate. Spork had the superior exit though and was able to hold on to his 4th place around the outside. The battle ended at the final lap when Briliak was prevented from challenging by a loss of traction, meaning he had to settle for 5th. Nothing could stop Simoncic though from crossing the line to execute a brilliant alternate strategy to win his first ever Spanish Grand Prix, his 27th World Championship victory, putting him 2nd on the all-time wins list ahead of Bruno Marquez. Maguire was denied a first win, but him and Deval rounded out the podium on a strong day for R8G. Then it was the dueling Alpines of Spork and Briliak ahead of Braxock and Bock, gaining their first points of the season. Siebel overtook Jordan for 8th on the line as Denahan rounded out at the top 10. Schleuter recovered from an 8th place grid penalty to climb to 11th, taking his first career points along with Hakimi. Mrokcek recovered from a nightmare first corner to finish 13th, ahead of Zux and the valets of Valeriano and Musadis. Lalu beat Williams and Merguli to 17th as Oldenmenga took the final point after a late call-up. Van den Eet was a lap down and just outside the points along with Skovron, Prosciutto and Panzer, whose races were compromised by their opening lap tangle. Andre, Martin, Van Vukas, Callas, Grankvist and Latiou made up the 6 retirements on a day of high attrition and multiple accidents. Simoncic's win puts him into a 14-point lead in the standings over Denahan, who is now just a point ahead of fellow Irishman Maguire. Deval and Briliak move up to 4th and 5th as Mrokcek drops to 6th, just a point ahead of Spork and Jordan. Burst Next View hold on to their lead in the teams table, but are now just 11 points ahead of the impressive R8G team. Alpine moves up to 3rd, just 4 points clear of rivals Ferrari. NX27 drops to 5th, then it's Virtual Drivers by TX3 and Arnaud Brabham in a joint 6th. So Simoncic is back on top, leaving everyone else to lick their wounds and go back to the drawing board. Will the Slovenian romp home to a 4th title, or can any of our contenders get the upper hand? We'll find out in Montreal on the 25th of June. From me, Edward Hunter, and from Circuit to Catalunya, adios.